Hello, I'm Adam Miller, co-host and associate producer for the RPM show, and welcome to my video review of The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now, this movie is based off of a segment that was in a movie that I'm sure we all know called Fantasia. And in that segment, in a long story short, without getting off topic, I will say that the segment was Mickey Mouse tries to use the sorcerer's powers to do his bidding, which was basically to get the place cleaned up. Well, he loses control and chaos ensues. Now, getting into the movie is an expansion on that segment, but in so doing, it creates a backstory to the sorcerer. And along with that, it also gives a good versus evil plot, which is set in modern day New York City. Now, the backstory is Nicolas Cage, who plays the sorcerer, Balthazar Blake, is one of three sorcerers that all work for Merlin, who is the famous sorcerer of as legend goes. And along now, the other two sorcerers are Veronica, played by Monica Bellucci, who is also the love interest for Balthazar, and Horvath, played by Alfred Molina. Now, what happens is Horvath betrays everybody, including Merlin and the three sorcerers, and I'm sure everybody else. And as he falls in love with the evil sorcerer Morgana, played by Alice Cridge, well, they kill Merlin, and Morgana kind of gets to into a little battle of the sorcerer powers with Veronica. And what happens is Veronica and she takes on a spell that allows her to absorb the soul of Morgana into her body. And what happens is Nicolas Cage imprisons Veronica along with the soul of Morgana into a what's called a grim hole. But when you see it, it's kind of like one of those little boxes that kind of when you open up, there's another one inside, and then when you open up another one inside that, it kind of there's another one that it starts with a big one, but at the end there's a little teeny one that doesn't open. Well, I'm sure when you see the movie, you'll pretty much know what I mean. But they call it a grim hole, which pretty much has the power to imprison sorcerers or evil spirits or whatever. Now, the legend goes that the only person who can defeat Morgana is an apprentice who has been chosen by the legend, who actually will be chosen by what's called a little dragon ring that Nicolas Cage is carrying along with him. Now, that ring knows the person who's going to have the power to destroy the evil sorcerer Morgana. Now, the person in question is Jay Baruchel, plays a physics nerd, who is who gets taken under Balthazar's wings, and he trains him to be the apprentice. But even though Balthazar knows that he is the so-called chosen one to defeat the evil powers. Now, this movie, I must say, was a lot of fun. It's got a lot of Disney fun, a lot of good Disney humor, and Nicolas Cage, who I'm a huge admirer and fan of. I'm a big fan of his movies, whether it's Con Air, The Rock, or some of his family movies or his older stuff, like Raising Arizona or Leaving Las Vegas, or his new family stuff like National Treasure, or his latest like Bad Lieutenant. Now, with that being said, Nicolas Cage, I must say, was, I think, the perfect person to play a sorcerer. I mean, he is pretty much the only a few actors that I can actually see playing a sorcerer like this. It would either be Nicolas Cage or Johnny Depp, who I think can do because the thing is, these actors can pretty much do anything. They can disappear into anything, and Nicolas Cage has that ability. He does that perfectly. And now the rest of the cast, Alfred Molina, who we all know from Spider-Man 2 as Dr. Octopus, who plays the bad guy Horvath, is an absolute joy to watch. He is a great actor. Monica Bellucci, who was only in pretty much the beginning and the end, along with Alice Cridge, who's the evil sorcerer Morgana, are each great in their parts. I mean, overall, the cast was cast very well. Now, this movie was directed by John Turteltaub, who also directed the National Treasure movies. But hopefully, I mean, he is getting to be a very, very accomplished director when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, he does a very good job. Now, this movie, as I said, was a lot of fun. It's kind of a perfect. I wouldn't say it's a good family movie. It's got pretty much everything for the kids. Even though there are a few scares, a lot of intense special effects. I mean, it's a PG movie, But there are a lot of intense stuff. A lot of giant monsters. You know evil. There's a lot of evil setting. The evil powers, the sorcerer powers, whatever. But anyway, I mean, it's a lot of fun. In all respect. It's definitely one that I would definitely recommend to everybody that and anybody who's watched my videos so far this summer. That pretty much I've recommended every movie that I've done a video review on. But this one is another definite. It's well worth your time. It's well worth the money, and it's certainly well worth it if you get caught going to see Inception this weekend, and it's all sold out. This is what you should go see instead, because you will not be you will not be ripped off. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is, well, as I said, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, very good movie, very fun, very cute, mind you. There's a lot of very cuteness in it. There's a lot of cute spots, especially the scene where the girl tries to come over and Jay Balthazar, Barachel or whatever, I cannot pronounce the guy's name, but the guy that plays the Apprentice starts to clean up the place by using the magic to get the brooms to mop the place for him. And it directly takes it back to Fantasia. But anyway, that segment is, one of the best. It made me laugh hysterically because I've seen the Fantasia segment, and it brings back great memories from when I saw that as a kid. But anyway, go see the movie, and it's totally well worth it. Now, if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts and opinions with that, email me at adam@therpmshow.com, and also check out our website, www.therpmshow.com, and also check us out on Facebook and MySpace. And I'm sure if you go to, now we all have these links on our website, so no need for me to say, what the names of the websites are. But also check out all our other videos on our YouTube page, and also don't forget we are on iTunes. So hopefully, you can download our broadcast to your iPods and listen to them as you go. Now, until then, I will be back next round for Inception, which also comes out this weekend also. So until then, have a great weekend, and I'll see you at the movies.